Picture this. You're walking through a quiet park in Maryland, maybe sipping on an iced latte, minding your business, when you notice something strange. A swing, rocking back and forth, nothing unusual, right? But then you realize there's a child on it, and behind that swing is a mother, pushing and pushing and pushing. Hours pass, still pushing. Days pass, still pushing. 44 hours straight, and then the truth hits harder than the summer heat. The child isn't alive anymore. This is not the kind of story you stumble into and just scroll past. This is one of those tales that forces you to sit down, take a breath, and ask, how could something this horrifying happen? And that's exactly what we're breaking down today. The tragic case of Romechia Simms, her son Ji'Aire Donnell Lee, and the devastating mix of untreated schizophrenia, neglect, and systemic failure that turned a park swing into the scene of an unthinkable tragedy. Let's unravel 10 shocking, heartbreaking, and eye-opening truths behind this story. And trust me, you're gonna want to stick around until the last one, because it's not just about what happened in 2015, it's about what it says about all of us right now. Number 1. The swing that stopped time. The story begins in La Plata Park, Maryland. A witness notices a young mother, Romechia, pushing her son in a swing. Seems normal until it doesn't, because this wasn't just any park day. Ji'Aire had already passed away, but for 44 hours, his mother kept pushing, back and forth, back and forth. You know how in horror movies, the scariest thing isn't the monster jumping out, but the eerie normality before it? That was this moment in real life. Except it wasn't horror fiction, it was mental illness on full, tragic display. And if you're already chilled, wait until you hear how the boy actually died. Number 2. Death by dehydration and hypothermia. The autopsy revealed Ji'Aire died of dehydration and hypothermia. Translation: his tiny body couldn't handle the brutal swings in temperature, 95 degrees by day, dropping to 50 at night. For 2 days, he suffered until he couldn't anymore. This wasn't quick, it wasn't painless, it was preventable, and that's what makes this story sting even harder. So how does a mother end up in this position? Enter the next truth. Number 3. Schizophrenia in the driver's seat. Romechia was just 24, young, vulnerable, and severely mentally ill. She'd been diagnosed with schizophrenia, a condition that doesn't just whisper dark thoughts, it hijacks your brain. Hallucinations, delusions, paranoia. Imagine being locked in a nightmare and not waking up. That was her reality. Now, mental illness doesn't make someone evil, but untreated, unmanaged, and unsupported, it can make them dangerous, to themselves, to others, and in this case, tragically, to her own child. But here's where the system steps in, or rather, fails to. Number 4. A history ignored. This wasn't the first time Romechia had spiraled. She'd had a documented history of mental breakdowns. Her family knew, the system knew, yet somehow, she ended up alone in a park with her child, her mind unraveling, her illness unchecked. When people say it takes a village, this is why. Because sometimes, without the right safety nets, a single crack becomes a canyon. And speaking of the village, her mother had something powerful to say about it. Number 5. A mother's plea. After the tragedy, Romechia's mom, Tasha, didn't lash out in anger. Instead, she turned heartbreak into a call for compassion. She wrote about how we rally around people with cancer, with heart disease, even with addiction, but when it comes to mental illness, silence, stigma, side-eye. Her message was simple: don't shun them, don't shame them, because mental illness touches every family. If not yours yet, it will. That's not an opinion, it's a statistical guarantee. And that brings us to the courtroom. Number 6. The trial that wasn't. Romechia faced charges. Involuntary manslaughter, child abuse, neglect, heavy stuff. But here's the twist. A forensic psychologist testified she couldn't be held criminally responsible. Why? Because schizophrenia was steering the wheel. Instead of prison, she got psychiatric care and mandatory medication. Some saw mercy, others saw injustice. But one thing was clear. This wasn't a case of malice, it was madness untreated. And yet, the public had questions. Big ones. Number 7. The could this happen again? Fear people wanted reassurance. If someone with severe mental illness avoids prison, what stops this from happening again? The answer, nothing. Unless the system follows through with support, therapy, medication, monitoring. And that's the weak link. We're great at reacting after the fact, terrible at prevention. It's like fixing potholes after cars crash. We patch instead of prepare. And the cost? Lives. But maybe the saddest part of this entire case is this. Next one. Number 8. Ji'Aire was still alive at the start. Investigators believe Ji'Aire was alive when Romechia first put him on that swing, which means with intervention, he could have been saved. That fact alone should haunt anyone who thinks mental health is just a personal problem. Because here, the gap between treatment and tragedy was measured in hours. It's a reminder that every breakdown ignored, every red flag shrugged off, can snowball into disaster. And if you're still thinking, okay, but this is a rare freak case, let's widen the lens. Number 9. Mental illness is everywhere, but resources aren't. 1 in 5 adults in the U.S. experiences mental illness in a given year. 1 in 20 lives with serious mental illness, like schizophrenia. That's millions of people. But mental health care, it's like trying to buy Taylor Swift tickets, scarce, expensive, and gone before you can grab it. Romechia's case is tragic, yes, but it's also a spotlight on what happens when a society underfunds mental health care. You don't just lose one child. You lose faith in the very systems meant to protect families. And here comes the final, gut punch truth. Number 10. This could be anyone's story. It's tempting to file this away as a crazy mother in Maryland. But that's the easy way out. The harder truth? This could be your neighbor, your coworker, your cousin, maybe even you. Mental illness doesn't discriminate, and untreated, it can twist love into tragedy. Ji'Aire's death isn't just a headline, it's a cautionary tale about compassion, about resources, about seeing the signs before it's too late. So what do we do with all this? We don't just gasp and move on. We start talking, supporting, listening, because silence kills, stigma kills, and pretending it can't happen in your backyard, that kills too. If this story shook you, let it change you. Take mental illness seriously. Check on your people. And if you're struggling yourself, please reach out. You're not alone, and you don't have to fight it alone. And hey, if you want more stories that cut through the noise, mixing the shocking with the meaningful, hit that like button. Subscribe for more fast-paced deep dives where real life out-twists fiction. And drop a comment. Do you think our justice system handles mental illness fairly, or does this case prove we've got it backwards? Because one thing's certain. The swing in that park may have stopped, but the questions it left behind, they're still moving.